Yo, what's up? Y'all know who it is, man. Maybe y'all don't know who it is. This is Pastor Jamel Smith, you know what I'm saying? AKA The Messenger. Yo, straight up, man, I just like to welcome y'all off rip to my podcast, my first one, Sobriety Driven. You know what I'm saying? Where love wins here. 1 Peter 4:8. Love covers a multitude of sin. This is where we at. Yo, I'm excited, man. I'm just excited and thrilled to be here another year. This is 2025. I've been working so hard, grinding, pushing to get this podcast out. And I've tried different roads. I tried different ideas and just so not sure where I wanted to go and what direction I wanted this to go. And God said, just be you. You know what I'm saying? I love it because I had the opportunity to preach January 26th of 2025. And I go back to the play. I play the tape back and I'm looking at, myself up there and I'm listening to myself. And I said, it's okay to allow you to be you with God. And I've just been holding on to that. And like sometimes you think you're speaking to people and you're up there and you're ministering, and then it's like little nuggets that God just drops on you in the midst of the sermon, in the midst of the teaching. And that's something that I took for myself from it, is that it's okay for you to be you with God. And whatever that looks like, that's between you and God. And to just be 100% real with God, because, we can't pretend with him. We can't hide from him. We can't sugarcoat anything because God is omnipotent. He's all knowing. He's present everywhere. So anything that we're doing, thinking, he sees it. We think we're hiding, but we're not. He sees it. So I'm just honored, man, to be here with you guys, man, and to just, actually just share my testimony about my recovery and things that I have accomplished in the past few years of my life and my struggles and my addiction. And none of it has been easy. It all has been hard. It all has been hard. Just sticking to being sober and recovery and sobriety, it has not been easy. It's been very difficult, but it got easier the more I started to just like lean towards God and give it to him. That's when it became much easier for me, and finding a good support system within my circle. So yeah, let's get into it.
Y'all looking like 49ers. My God, can't nobody come up beside you.
We waving, we waving, we waving, we waving, we waving, we waving, we waving by to you. Cause Jesus is the truth.
Looking back over my life, it's 2025 now. Just looking back, go about 15 years back, maybe 14, somewhere around there, when, I realized how long I've been in my addiction. And as of right now, from 2025, I'm about 6 years clean of hard drugs. My hard drugs of choice was cocaine, pills, Molly. Those were the only ones that I really, really dipped and dabbed in the most. Alcohol was one of my biggest problems. I really couldn't drink without the others. It's like if I'm drinking, then I'm doing the other things as well. Like, you know what I mean? If I'm drinking, I'm sniffing coke, or I'm popping an ecstasy pill, or I was on something. You know what I mean? The worst was mixing alcohol with lean. I remember I had one night with that. That was the worst night of my life ever. And so off of those, it's been about 6 years. Alcohol, I'm about 2 years clean. I just couldn't find a way out of that hole, you know what I mean, from alcohol. It's like I was always falling into the trap of alcohol. I don't care what it was. It's like one thing went off. It's like whatever trigger that I had at the moment or whatever emotion I was feeling, it was just like, oh, relapse, we're going back to the liquor store. And I think being honest, this is probably like the longest run I've had since 2010 when I got back into, you know, alcohol and hard drugs. This has been the longest run of me being clean, 2 years. Because every time, I mean, I'm not laughing to laugh. Like it's funny now. Like when I look back at it, like, you know, these $7, $10 bottles or whatever I was buying at the time held me in bondage for so many years, and I couldn't find a way out of it. I couldn't escape it. And just realizing now, man, it's like I've wasted so much time, you know, just trying to recover from those things. And man, you know, it's like a battle, you know. So anybody out there struggling, you know, with the substance abuse of alcohol, listen, man, there is a way out. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that it's easy, because a lot of people will tell you like, hey, yo, like, you know, go to a meeting, or, you know, go to an outpatient, or go to an inpatient program. And I've done all these things on top of like counseling and seeing psychiatrists and therapists. I've been in therapy for almost 15 years, you know, fighting this thing. I've been through 4 or 5 different, you know, counselors and therapists that, you know, who been in my corner supporting me and working with me through this process. And I'm going on 2 years, which is my longest run. And honestly, within this, I feel like I'm running a marathon, and I don't feel like looking back. I don't feel like anytime soon I'm going to collapse. But, you know, we are careful to speak on those things, because you never know what might happen in your life, or, you know, what road you might go down. But the idea is to remain sober. It's to remain in sobriety and stay clean. That's the fight of waking up every day, that I have to, you know, challenge myself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, if this happens today, how are you going to handle this situation? And the situation probably ain't even happened. You know, nothing probably hasn't even happened yet, but it's just, we're so on guard with, like, if I go to work and my boss pisses me off today, how am I going to handle this situation? If I wake up and, you know, my wife or my significant other or whatever, you know, goes off onto me, how am I going to handle this situation? You know, kids is acting up, how am I going to handle that? You know, finances is acting up, how am I going to handle that? Spiritually, I'm not balanced, how am I going to handle that? Mental health is all over the place. How am I going to handle my sobriety when I don't have control of things around me? When I can't control my atmosphere, when I can't control the people in my life, when I can't control where my money is coming and where it's going, like, what do you do in the process of staying sober and all those things? Because normally when we have those type of situations, me, you know, if I was in a financial flute, you know, a spiral going down or whatever, it's crazy, because you think like you're in a financial deficit. You'd be like, hey, save your money. No, I would go to the liquor store, because it would make me so depressed knowing that I didn't have the money, or I didn't know where I was going to get the money to pay the bill, or, you know, fix my kids, their next meal or stuff. So something like that would stress me out to the point to where I would just spend that money on alcohol instead of thinking like, oh, shoot, you know, I could have just paid the bill, or I could have just bought my kids food. But then it's like you do that, but you still, like, you don't have anything to suppress those thoughts anymore. You don't have anything to suppress your depression. Like, you know what I mean? I need something in me to make this go away. Right? You know what I mean? And me being a man of God, I prayed, and I just felt like, you know, praying wasn't enough. I was just like, oh man, well, God, I'm praying to you. You know, I'm asking you to take this away. I'm asking you to fix this, and and nothing's happening. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to throw in there, faith without works is dead. It is impossible to please God without faith. So that was something that I was lacking in the midst of my addiction, because truth of the matter is, I just wanted to drink, but I knew I had kids to take care of, right? I knew I had a home to provide for. But alcohol was more important to me, you know? But my kids ate. And I made sure that I had a little something for myself tucked away, you know what I'm saying, for those moments. It was like premeditation. I planned this. I had this mapped out, whether it was cashing in cans or, you know, asking somebody to borrow some money until my next paycheck or whatever it is. And that's what I did to get by. I survived off of those skills. And majority of those skills came with manipulation, lying to people. You know what I mean? And that's something that I dislike from, you know, coming up as a child, of being manipulated and lied to, but not realizing as an addict, I was like that. You know, I was manipulative. I was being manipulating, you know, and I didn't see it as being malicious with manipulating. You know what I mean? Because it was like, yo, you'd be like, hey, Johnny, let me borrow $20. What you need $20 for? You know, well, I got to do this and I got to do that. I would never just say, hey, let me borrow $20 for liquor, because I knew you wouldn't give me the $20 to, you know, to go buy the liquor. So I would come up with some type of story to get this money, you know what I'm saying, to get this alcohol. But I always paid them back. Whoever it was, in the process of me borrowing this money to feed my addiction, I made sure that I paid whoever I borrowed the money from back. And it was just like, man, like, you know, like I have to go through this just to, you know what I mean? To take a 2-minute walk to the liquor store to, you know what I'm saying, be drunk within an hour. And I'm not just talking about drunk, you know, man, listen, when I got drunk, I got drunk. I mean, there was days I had my good days. I could drink and just chill. But there was days where so much drama was going on in my life, and we'll get into that as we, you know, continue these episodes. There was so much drama going on in my life. Like, I just had to drink. I had to drink. No matter who I talked to, I could talk to anybody about the situation or the problems that I was facing, and it just never seemed to get better. I had to go get high. I had to go call the Coke man, you know what I'm saying, get the weed. I couldn't. It was always something. The cigarettes, you know what I'm saying, the Percocets, whatever it is, the Xannies. I had to have something, some type of substance to like really help suppress these thoughts that were going on in my mind that were driving me crazy. You know what I'm saying? Whether they were true or whether they weren't true, they were thoughts, and they were driving me mad. And the only way I could silence them is by getting high. You know what I mean? And it's like the higher I got, the louder the voices got, and the more I got high, if that makes any sense, you know. And it really wasn't helping. So it just got worse and worse and worse as the years went on. And as they went on, I look back and I was like, yo, I can't believe it. Like, you know, when I got somewhat sober, when I went to Teen Challenge in 2019, this was when things started to really turn around for me in 2019 when I went to Teen Challenge. And I was only there for 2 weeks that I realized that, yo, I have been from 2010 to 2019. We're going on 9 years, right, of being an addiction. And to me, it seemed like it was 2. It felt like 2 years. And I couldn't believe it when I look back and realized, like, yeah, I've been here 9 years. And sometimes I talk to some people, and some people be like, yeah, man, I've been in it for 40. Some was like 50, and I'm looking at their age, and I'm like, man, how old are you? You know, and they're like, yo, I'm 66, or like, you know, I'm 55. And I'm like, wow, like, you've been in your addiction this long and haven't realized that you've been doing it for like half your life. And you don't pay attention to the time because you just want the next fix. You just want, it's the next high for you. You know, so when I was on my cocaine binges, when I was binging on cocaine, it was like, oh my God, I'd be like 3 days in, coked up, and don't even realize it. And be like, I've been doing coke for 3 days straight. I've been getting high for 3 days straight. Out, just getting high. Like, what? What have I done? Like, that is 72 hours. That is literally 72 hours of my time that I was out, getting high. This is crazy. And I'm just like, yo, this is mad. And, you're 3 days on, 3 days off, because if you know cocaine, man, listen, it does something to you. Cocaine, in the words of Rick James, is a hell of a drug. You know what I mean? Y'all hear me say that a lot. It's a phrase that I use joking when I see people doing stupid stuff nowadays, because when I see them, scooping that low or, to that level of stupidity, I look at myself and I'm like, man, cocaine is a hell of a drug. You know what I mean? Because, woo, I'm telling you, man, that's all I can say. If you know, you know. You know what I mean? Hold on, I got to give it for that one, man. Jeez. But all jokes aside, though, it took a toll on my life. But although it took me long to get to where I am now, I thank God that I was giving, the chances. And just listen to what I just said. I was giving the chances to correct my mistakes. Plural. Chances. Giving chances to correct my mistakes. It didn't make up. Correcting my mistakes didn't make up for the hurt or the pain that I caused people. Because when you're so far into this thing, you don't realize the people that you hurt. You don't realize the damage that you cause because you don't care. Because at the time, like I said, you're only caring about getting high. You're only caring about your next fix. You're not worried about what people are thinking. But then when we're trying to sober up and we're trying to come out this thing, that's when we start to worry about who we hurt and where our trust was lost at with these people. And it's like, but now I'm clean. So it's like we think like all of a sudden because of this is just supposed to be like a rekindled situation. Like we're supposed to just forgive and forget. No, it doesn't work like that. So there's not only did you cause damage to people, it's the damage that you cause to yourself that you must heal from. And that damage takes a lot of recovery. I use this analogy a lot with people now, is thinking like, when you go, like if you break a leg or an arm or a finger, whatever bone you break in your body, the doctor literally tells you it takes 6 weeks to heal from it. 6 weeks. And the doctor will tell you, you got to stay off your leg, got to stay off your ankle, you got to, rest your arm, you can't use your hand, whatever, like I said, whatever, bones you broke in your body, they tell you can't use it, you have to rest. This is the part where it's just you can't do nothing. If you ever had a cast on your arm, you know what that itchy feeling get like, you got to stick it like a little rod, or pencil or something in there to get to it, to scratch it. And this is what it becomes. So now it's just like you're in this phase and of recovery, and it takes long. So in your 6 weeks process, you're going through that. And then literally like after that, now you got to go through recovery with therapy to recover from the pain and the aches and the bruises. And now you're in that. And sometimes that could take like a year, you know what I'm saying, to recover from. So yeah, 6 weeks of recovering to get a cast off to like now going to, physical therapy for a year. You know what I mean? And even in the process of that, you're healing from all the damages and the pain that you cause to your body. It's the same thing in relationships when you're in recovery from addiction.
Yahweh, Yahweh. Yeah. We waving, 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 we waving by to you. Cause Jesus is the truth.